Well, once again, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. As always, I am Zak, the Corruption Detector, and this is another edition of Red Pill News. We have so much news for you guys today. I hope everyone's having a lovely day, that you had a marvelous week last week as well. I certainly enjoyed my vacation, and we are back in full effect. First of all, we have some incredible video footage, which shows the Sergeants Benevolent Association boss of New York, Ed Mullins. He was spotted with a Where We Go One, We Go All mug in the background as he was being interviewed on Fox News. That is great. Also, we have some conflicting reports about Ghislaine Maxwell. Earlier this morning, it was reported that she would be getting bail, but it turns out that the U.S. government does not want to allow that to happen, so she is going to remain incarcerated. We also have some leaked audio of Joe Biden and former Ukrainian Prime Minister Petro Poroshenko laughing like a couple of schoolgirls about the fact that they are sabotaging President Trump's campaign. This is back in 2016. We also have some information coming out that the deep state is panicking because President Trump commuted the sentence of Roger Stone. This is going to open him up to give us a lot of information, and the main point is that Russia did not hack the DNC. We're going to learn all about that. Also, Adam Schiff is a little bit nervous because Lindsey Graham has said that he's going to be calling Robert Mueller in to testify before Congress. And finally, we have some UK court documents which tell us that Christopher Steele told the FBI Hillary Clinton knew he was compiling the dirty dossier. She was involved from the very beginning. Not too surprising, but we're still going to go over it. All right, guys, please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. You likely already know what collagen is. Collagen makes your skin healthy and gives you a youthful look. It strengthens your nails, hair, teeth, and your gut health. It maintains muscle, it improves joints, and so much more. But did you know to reap the maximum benefits, you have to consume 5 different types of collagen? Well, unfortunately, it's extremely difficult and inconvenient to get all 5 types into your diet. Most people make the mistake of thinking only one type of collagen is enough. There's actually 28 different types of collagen, but only 5 are the most important for your health, for youthful-looking skin, hair, joints, metabolism, and more. Now that's why consumers are choosing Ageless Multi-Collagen. One scoop of Ageless Multi-Collagen has the scientifically correct proportions of all 5 proteins that you need to maximize your benefits from collagen. You're getting 5 different collagen products in one. With Ageless Multi-Collagen, your body doesn't have to work hard to break these proteins down, ensuring the collagen doesn't go to waste. You'll be able to easily and rapidly digest it, giving your body the building blocks it needs to give you a younger look, improve your nails, hair, joints, teeth, support gut health, and more. It includes essential amino acids, 10 grams of protein per serving, and it's odorless and tasteless, so you can add it to any drink of your choice. Ageless Multi-Collagen has a no junk policy, so you can be certain it has no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives, or artificial sweeteners. You can get yourself a bag of Ageless Multi-Collagen. I highly recommend it, and as an added bonus, if you order today, they will give you free shipping, free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, and a free e-report on the 14 foods to give you amazing skin. You'll also be feeding a hungry child. For every order of Ageless Multi-Collagen today, they will donate a nutritious meal to a hungry child in your honor. If you order today, you can save 51% off Ageless Multi-Collagen, and rest assured, knowing this company offers a 60-day money-back guarantee, even on empty bags. So go to healthwithredpill.com and order yours today. Once again, that's healthwithredpill.com. You can click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today from my friend on Twitter, Q Research Notables, at QAnon Notables, we have the Sergeants Benevolent Association boss, Ed Mullins. He was spotted with a mug that was featuring our favorite ANON in the background of an interview that he did with Fox News earlier. Now, in this clip, he's talking about the sad state of law enforcement as a result of Bill de Blasio, fake Italian. And in the background, you can go ahead and see this mug. Let's go ahead and play it. And this is going to bring a real smile to your face.
And this is a direct result of the policies that have been implemented by Mayor de Blasio, Corey Johnson, and Governor Cuomo. And it's time that this...
All right, guys. Well, if there's anything we have learned in the last couple of years, it's that there are no coincidences. Clearly, Ed placed this mug in the background as he was being interviewed so that it could be caught on camera. Where do you usually have your coffee mug? Well, mine is normally in my hand. That's what I'm going to be doing with it. But Ed placed this in the background so that people like us, the people in our movement, the real Anons, could see he has this Where We Go One, We Go All mug in the background, and we know exactly where Ed stands on everything having to do with this movement. Thank you so much, Ed, for making sure we caught that little nod to the movement. Where we go when we go all is right. All right, next, earlier this morning, the defense attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell predicted that she would be granted bail because they were looking to offer up a whole bunch of secured properties. It was going to be co-signed, and they gave this report to Fox Business where they said that they predicted she was going to be let out. However, we have an update after the actual court proceedings from Zero Hedge. Let's take a look. And yes, right here it says the U.S. government opposed Ghislaine Maxwell's request for bail, saying she should be detained because nothing short of incarceration can reasonably assure her appearance in court. Now, I have to wonder, why would they think that that would be necessary? Well, it looks like the answer is because when the FBI came to Ghislaine's New Hampshire home to try to arrest her, she did her best to evade them. First of all, they had to breach through a gate in the front. Then, when they got to the front door, she refused to open the door, and then she ran to another room. Keeping in mind, Ghislaine Maxwell is the alleged recruiter of now-deceased billionaire Jeffrey E. Now, the FBI actually saw her closing the door behind her. It was pretty obvious that she was trying to evade them. They ended up having to smash down that door, and when they did, they also discovered a mobile phone wrapped in tinfoil, which prosecutors allege was a seemingly misguided effort to evade detection by law enforcement. That's actually a pretty funny sight to see. Now, they said also that Maxwell is skilled at living and hiding, and as a result, she should be denied bail, keeping in mind that since last year, when her accomplice Jeffrey E. was arrested, she immediately went off the radar. She also planted those false pictures of her at In-N-Out Burger in California when it was alleged she was most likely hiding out someplace either in the Northeast, perhaps in Europe, perhaps in Israel. But on Tuesday, she is going to be appearing again. Now, currently, she is being held at the Fortress-like Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. They have her on suicide watch. She is being forced to wear paper clothes, so there is no possible way of her doing the same type of thing or having the same type of thing done to her as happened to Jeffrey E. last August when he allegedly suicided himself because he was in prison on the very same type of trafficking charges. Maxwell specifically is accused of grooming young girls as early as 14 years of age for Jeffrey to abuse between the years of 94 and 97. Now, during that time, that's when she was actually his girlfriend. And I don't think that anybody watching this thinks that those are the only years that she was assisting in some types of crimes such as this. Now, she had offered $5 million as a bond to be co-signed by two of her sisters and backed up by more than $3.75 million in property over in the UK. If she was to get bail, she would be confined to her home in the New York area. She would have to surrender all her travel documents, and of course, she would be subjected to GPS monitoring. But this is the point at which prosecutors said that the only way to ensure that she even makes it to court to get those charges brought against her in a trial is by having her locked up in this detention facility, because otherwise they think she very likely could flee the country, because she actually does have travel papers for France, keeping in mind that there is no extradition with the UK between France and the UK, so she could go there and she could hide out indefinitely. Now, the FBI initially conducted that raid on the morning of July 2nd at 8:30 a.m., and they said that the way she behaved was troubling. Now, they confronted that locked gate, they busted through it, they got to the front door, she ran. When they got inside, they had to breach through the door of the room that she was hiding in, and they clearly saw her attempting to evade them as they were coming into the home to arrest them. They watched through a window as she ignored their directions as she ran off, and she shut the door behind her, trying to hide from the FBI. Now, also, when the FBI did the security sweep of her house, that's when they found this oddly concealed cell phone. It was sitting on a desk, and it was wrapped in tinfoil, and they believe the only reason she would be doing that is because she must have thought that for some reason, by wrapping it in tinfoil, it would help her to evade detection by federal authorities. But unfortunately, that does not work, so I don't want to see anybody wrapping their phones in tinfoil. Now, we have the actual court documents here from the federal government. I am going to be leaving this link in the pinned comment below so you guys can read through that if you like. Some other compelling reasons why Maxwell should not be given bail is because she is the daughter of the late newspaper tycoon Robert Maxwell, someone who had access to many different countries throughout the world. It's said that Maxwell has many different bank accounts with many millions of dollars hidden throughout the world. So if she was to escape, she could conceivably exist and live on the run for an indefinite period of time. Now, at the time that the FBI arrived to arrest her, they spoke with a security guard who was working on the property, who said that Maxwell's brother had hired him from a company staffed with former British military soldiers, so she was not playing around. Now, luckily, that guard spoke to the FBI. They told her that she had not left the property during his time working there. Instead, every time that something needed to be done, the guard would be sent out to make purchases for the property using a credit card. All of these facts put together make it very clear that Ghislaine Maxwell is skilled at living and hiding on the run. Her lawyers made the argument that she's at increased risk of catching CV-19 because she is in prison. They also tried to claim that due to these restrictions about this CV-19, that it makes it impossible for her to get a fair trial. However, I think that that is a bunch of baloney. The government also revealed that during the year that she was on the run, she moved 36 times out of fear for her safety. You have to ask, who is she afraid of? Clearly, with all of the reports coming out that she had her own recording equipment and her own copies of damaging material on not only the rich and famous, but also sitting political officials in office right now, I would say that Maxwell is at quite a danger of getting suicided in the exact same way that Jeffrey was as well. Of course, her and her lawyers are vigorously denying the charges. They do intend to fight them. She says she is entitled to the presumption of innocence, and if I'm going to be very honest, she is. But I think that all of these facts in total show that she is a flight risk. She has the ability to live and hide on the run, and if we allow her to set foot out of prison, there is a very, very good chance that we will never see her again. Keeping in mind that her sisters are the inventors of a software program called Chiliad, which would allow people to obscure their movements throughout the globe and falsely show them traveling to various countries. It is a very troubling possibility, and there is so much information in regards to that. We're going to be doing a show on that very soon here. But in the meantime, Ghislaine Maxwell must stay locked up, and she must remain alive. Now, the people behind the Nabu Leaks YouTube account continue to drop incredible information, previously unheard phone recordings between Joe Biden and Petro Poroshenko. Now, in this latest little tidbit, it is a recording of Joe and Petro giggling like schoolgirls, laughing about the fact that they are attempting to sabotage the 2016 campaign of now President Donald Trump. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this short clip because you're going to want to hear it.
And another thing, it's just a joke. We released the important documents from the former Regent's Party. As far as I understand, one of the key advisors of Mr. Trump, so-called Paul Manafort, is resigned today.
Yeah, I think he's going back to Russia. I don't know.
And I think that this was a bad idea to take the Yanukovych advisor to the Trump team.
Yeah, I think so too. But there's a lot of bad decisions he's making.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you at the beginning of the week. All right?
Good, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. And let me know about after meeting with after lunch with Obama, and I can share with you the information from Berlin. Maybe we can do that tomorrow, or up to you. Whenever you would be ready, just let me know about that.
All right. Okay. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Joe. Thank you.
So what we have here is Petro Poroshenko discussing the release of the now proven to be fake information which tied Paul Manafort to Russia. He and Joe Biden laughing about it, also laughing about the fact that Yanukovych had been added to the Trump transition team, clearly because she was an anti-Trumper from the very beginning, and she was working along with the Obama administration and the, at that time, current version of the Ukrainian government to attempt to sabotage President Trump and the people that were working with him coming into the United States government at the time. Obviously, this is very damning evidence. We have them giggling and laughing about what they're doing to destroy President Trump and the people that are working with him. I wonder how much more information can possibly be released to show that the then Obama administration was working with that Ukrainian government to sabotage President Trump and his incoming administration. Now, one of the more exciting things that happened last week was that President Trump finally commuted the sentence of Roger Stone, just as he was about to prepare to get into prison. And of course, the deep state actors who were trying to destroy President Trump and the people in his orbit are now panicking over that commutation because his appeal is going to reveal that Russia never gave emails to WikiLeaks. Now, over the weekend, we had Weissman, Rosenstein, and Muller all come out of the woodwork to criticize President Trump's commutation of Roger Stone, which is going to prevent him from going to prison. Now, the reason behind that panic is because with this commutation, it's going to show that there was never any proof that Russia hacked the DNC or provided those emails to WL. Now, this lie is being brought to light, and it will destroy the entire Russia collusion investigation scandal as much as it can be, because in my mind, it's already been destroyed long ago. Now, the commutation was given down by President Trump on Friday, which is allowing Roger Stone to stay out of prison while he appeals the totally corrupt case that he endured over the past year and a half. Of course, shockwaves were sent through the mainstream media and the deep state both. We all know that Roger Stone was a victim of the witch hunt, the investigation that had no merits, and it was based on Trump-hating prosecutors' nasty opinions of the president because they knew it was fraudulent when they opened the investigation. They wasted how much? $45 million from the taxpayer funds. Now, the head of the Muller investigation, created to harass and remove President Trump from office, of course, was former FBI Director Robert Mueller, and he released a statement in response to the commutation, which was posted as an op-ed in the far-left Washington Compost. A lot of people suspect that Mueller's accomplice, the corrupt Andrew Weissman, was actually the person who wrote that report, since Mueller does not appear to have the mental faculties to draft such a report as his testimony in front of the House last year indicated. Now, in that op-ed, Mueller blasted Roger Stone. It was entitled, "Roger Stone Remains a Convicted Felon," and rightfully so. And the first three paragraphs carry much vitriol and hatred for the man and for President Trump both. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I am going to include the link in the description below. You guys can go ahead and read it. Essentially, he just trashes Roger Stone. He trashes the fact that he has been given a pass by President Trump, and he goes into several bits of information from the investigation, which at this point has been proven to be totally fictitious and false. Now, with Roger Stone's commutation, we also had former DAG Rod Rosenstein jumping in. Remember, it was Rosenstein himself who created the special counsel based on no crimes with an open scope at the beginning, which in fact was unconstitutional. Now, the man who was actually running things behind the scenes, in my mind, is Andrew Weissman, and he is now saying that he wants Roger Stone to appear before a grand jury in New York. He said, "Time to put Roger Stone in the grand jury to find out what he knows about Trump, but would not tell." He says commutation cannot stop that. That was a quote on Friday evening. Now, despite the fact that the Constitution states that the president has the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment, the people behind this witch hunt were crying foul all weekend long. In the statement from the White House, the president and the team said Roger Stone is a victim of the Russia hoax that the left and its allies in the media perpetrated for years in an attempt to undermine the Trump presidency. There was never any collusion between the Trump campaign or the Trump administration and Russia. Such collusion was never anything other than a fantasy of partisans unable to accept the results of the 2016 election. When it comes down to it, Muller, Rosenstein, and Weissman are frightened of the possibilities that are now at play because Roger Stone is not going to die in prison. They know that Roger Stone's appeal is going to come before the court. There will be additional evidence shown, which is going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Russia never hacked the DNC or had anything to do with those emails. And it opens up the possibility of criminal charges for these guys as well. The entire Russian collusion scam started with the Hillary Clinton campaign. They're the ones who started the rumor that the release of those emails was on the backs of Russians and their hacking teams. And they were planning on pinning Russia collusion on President Trump and his administration from the very beginning. Not only was Hillary Clinton involved from the start, she paid for this dossier, but Christopher Steele told the FBI point blank that Clinton knew he was compiling the dossier. Now, these court documents were released this past Wednesday, and they reveal that as early as July 5th, 2016, the FBI itself was aware that Christopher Steele, a former MI6 agent for Britain, had acknowledged that then presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton personally knew that he was commissioned to compile the now discredited Trump-Russia dossier. Notes taken by the FBI revealed that Steele was told that Clinton herself was aware that he was commissioned to create the dossier, which falsely alleges collusion between President Trump and his campaign and the Russia government during the 2016 election, among other wild accusations. Now, 3 months later, the FBI would conceal this critical information from the FISA court in order to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump's tangential campaign officer, Carter Page. Now, on Wednesday, a London judge had ordered Christopher Steele to pay damages to 2 Alpha Bank partners for publishing inaccurate and misleading material in that dossier, including claims that the banks funneled illicit cash to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, the ruling that was released reveals the FBI recorded notes of that July 5th meeting with Christopher Steele at his London-based Orbis business office, where he handed the FBI the documents containing his unsubstantiated, largely discredited Trump-Russia dossier. They also noted Steele had told them his Orbis business intelligence firm was contracted by Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS and Democratic Party associates to produce the dossier, but he knew the ultimate client was the leadership of the Clinton presidential campaign. That would be Hillary Clinton herself. He also alerted the FBI that he was aware that Clinton herself knew he was commissioned to create the dossier, and one of the segments reads as follows: Mr. Steele's evidence is that he now believes the ultimate client was the Democratic National Committee. Mr. Muller submits that the ultimate client was the Clinton election campaign, Hillary for America. This is in line with the FBI note of July 5th, 2016, which records Mr. Steele telling the FBI that Orbis had been instructed by Mr. Simpson of Fusion GPS and Democratic Party associates that the ultimate client was the leadership of the Clinton presidential campaign. The FBI also noted that Mr. Steele had been told by that stage that Mrs. Clinton herself was aware of what Orbis had been commissioned to do. These notes taken back in July of 2016 100% undermine the FBI's argument to the FISA court that it needed to get these warrants to spy on people in the Trump campaign. However, James Comey in October of 2016 still signed off on the first of 3 unsuccessful FISA applications to obtain warrants to spy on Carter Page. The second and third were the renewal applications because FISA has to be renewed every 90 days. Now, an interesting footnote in Carter Page's October 21st FISA application and 2 subsequent renewals that were submitted to the FISC omitted the key fact that the FBI had documented Steele's knowledge of Clinton's role in the dossier, as well as her awareness that he was tasked to complete it. By concealing that information from the FISA court in those FISA applications, they materially lied to the court. They knew that 100% Hillary Clinton, the DNC, her campaign. They were the ones who were looking for this information. They planted this information with the FBI, and they ignored the obvious fact that this was political espionage being conducted by the Democratic presidential nominee at that time, Hillary Clinton. Now, if the FBI had included accurate information in those notes, of course, the FISA applications would never have been granted. Carter Page would have never been spied on, and most likely other people in President Trump's transition team would never have been spied on as well. And please don't forget that the FBI also omitted the fact that Carter Page had previously been a source for not only the FBI, but also for the clowns in America. Now, what's really interesting is that the FBI used some really tricky language in the notes that they included on all three FISA applications, stating that they speculated that the identified U.S. person, which would be Glenn Simpson, was likely looking for information that could be used to discredit Candidate 1's campaign. Candidate 1 would be President Trump. Considering the fact that Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and her campaign were the ones paying for this dossier to be compiled, obviously, it is looking to discredit Candidate 1, at that time, Candidate Trump. With this deceptive phrasing in the FISA applications, the FBI clearly manipulated the FISA court into granting these applications to allow them to spy on people in President Trump's campaign, and thereby essentially President Donald Trump, Candidate Trump at this time. Now, what they did was materially omit information that would have stopped them from being able to get these FISA applications. And this right here is part of those 17 significant errors and omissions that the IG, Michael Horowitz, found when investigating the process the FBI used to gather these FISA applications from the Fisk court. Now, I'm sure that U.S. Attorney John Durham, who is looking into the criminal aspect of this investigation into President Trump and his team, is going to find this information extremely compelling. I hope that it does get into his hands sooner rather than later, because I really am hoping that we're going to see this investigation come to a close by the end of the summer and before the election in November. Now, after the commutation was handed down by President Trump, Adam Schiff also crawled out of the woodwork. He seems to be a little nervous after Lindsey Graham announced that due to this op-ed that Robert Mueller wrote, he wants to pull him in and have him provide additional testimony. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip from Adam Schiff, because it shows an incredible ponderance of cognitive dissonance. Donald Trump, his team, the people surrounding him, have all been exonerated of any of the claims in the dirty dossier and from the investigation into his campaign by Robert Mueller and others.
Call me skeptical about Lindsey Graham's motivations. After all, this is the guy who just, even before the commutation was announced, said that he thought it was a perfectly good idea. I suspect that all Lindsey Graham wants to do is continue his counterfactual, counter-narrative, that is, that Donald Trump was somehow the victim when Donald Trump was the one inviting Russians to help him get elected in the first place. He was the one making use of this ill-gotten gain, the hacked materials from the Clinton campaign. His associate, Roger Stone, was the intermediary between Mr. Trump and Russian intelligence. Stone was directly in communication with Russian intelligence, and their cutout WikiLeaks that they were publishing this information. So call me very skeptical about what Lindsey Graham has in mind.
Adam Schiff, you can be as skeptical as you want, but I want to say that at this point, the American public is skeptical of you and your own motivations. All you did in that 48-second clip was spew lie after lie after lie. Clearly, President Trump and everyone in his transition team who were examined and investigated by the FBI and other federal agencies were in fact the victims of political spying and political espionage. President Trump never did what they said he did, because if he had, you better believe that the Mueller team and all of these other various investigations would have found the evidence and used it to pin him against the wall. President Trump was the victim here. Roger Stone was the victim here. Paul Manafort was the victim here. Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, the list goes on and on. Due to people like you, Adam Schiff, our country has been subjected to nearly 4 years of endless investigations, and it is clearly time for the tide to turn against you and your deep state coup conspirators. All right, and finally, one more tidbit sent over by my good friend Methods. Peter J. Hassan put out this tweet, which is a retweet of Clay Travis. Now, apparently, you can go to the NBA's website and create custom jerseys. They also allow the players to wear their own customized jerseys. Now, you can use the site to create a customized jersey that says Free America, Free Canada, Free Mexico, or Free Taiwan, but you cannot use it to create a jersey that says Free Hong Kong. Why? Because the NBA is beholden to the Chinese CCP. Let's go ahead and take a look at this little trick in action. We are unable to customize this item with the text you have entered. Please try again. Spell it wrong, and it works. Spell it correctly, and they stop you. This is absolutely terrifying to think that in our own country, the NBA, an American sports league, is stopping us from supporting the people of Hong Kong. Why? Once again, because the NBA is beholden to the Chinese CCP. They depend on the money from the Chinese CCP to allow their league to be played in China, to have broadcast rights throughout China, but the one thing you can't do is stand up against a dictatorship which is currently in the midst of destroying a free and fair society. This is what's coming for us here in America if we don't win this war that we are engaged in currently. Make no mistake, my friends, we are fighting for our lives, for our freedom, and for the future of our country. Well, guys, I think that's all that I have for you today. We continue to plug along. The news never stops, and I am looking forward to getting back to work this week. And I want to thank everyone for joining me today. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am Zak the Corruption Detector, and this was another edition of Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, one more thing. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has supported the channel. If you're interested in doing more, there is always links in the description below. I have the merch store. Of course, I also have the backup channels. Please subscribe to those. If you take a look up here, you're going to see a couple of other videos. There's also a spot to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. And if you are subscribed, I ask you to please check and make sure that you're still subscribed and your notifications are turned on. Thank you, everybody, for watching the program, and I will see you tomorrow.